Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb, and on this episode, we're going to talk about how to do a 16-hour intermittent fasting time, how to start off intermittent fasting with a 16-8, coming up next. Hi guys, it's Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb. On this episode, we're going to talk about a 16-8 intermittent fasting time, a 16-hour fasting, 8-hour eating window on this video, and I have lost a significant amount of weight doing keto and intermittent fasting. Here's my before and after picture. And today, if you love this video, smash that like button, make sure you click subscribe, and sign up for my free weekly keto meal plan and weekly intermittent fasting schedule down in the description link below. Let's dive in to us talking about a 16-8. A little clarification, I do use my hands when talking. God made me expressive and I talk quickly. So slow down my speed if I'm talking too fast for you. So let's dive into a 16-8. Number one is 16-8 is 16-hour fasting, not eating, and an 8-hour eating window. Dr. Fung, the daddy of intermittent fasting, has written an awesome book that I highly recommend called The Complete Guide to Fasting. This book has changed my life. I will link it in the description link below. Get it at the library. I recommend it on every single intermittent fasting book I do, but particularly for a beginner, you can see in here what breaks a fast, what does not break a fast, which I have a separate video I'll put in the description link too. But this book really goes through of how you can start doing this. But the reason why I love 16-8s, 16-hour eating fasting window, 8-hour eating window, is for a number of reasons. Is one, that you can start working that if you're a beginner around your work schedule and times that you're home and not away from home. Basically, what I would suggest for 16-8 is you stop. I have my little cheat sheet over here. You start eating at 10 a.m. So you fast up until 10 a.m. and then you start eating again to where your last bite of food, this is my definition, my last bite of food goes down my esophagus at 6 p.m. So from 10 to 6, that's my eating window. I eat in there. So if I'm stopping eating at 6, I typically like to eat until I start eating at 5:30 p.m. And then that way it ensures I'm done at 6 p.m. and it doesn't swing my times for the following days with doing my fasting times. You can swing this a little bit further, because my tip for you would be, tip number 2 is make this work around your work schedule and your life schedule. I know some of y'all work shift work, like if you're a nurse or if you work the night shift for things, and this is going to switch up your times a little bit, but it's still totally applicable. Maybe instead of doing a 16-8, maybe instead you do a 15, what would the math be not on? A 15-9, a 15-hour fast and a 9-hour eating window. However, autophagy, which is the self-eating where your body eats its own junk cells. It eats precancerous cells, it eats protein cells, it eats Alzheimer's cells, it eats the bad stuff. That starts at the 16-8 mark. And there's new information coming out from the Nobel Peace Prize winner who won in 2016 on that concept. But basically, if you have anything other than water during your fast, you will not have autophagy. And so that's a video for another day, for another topic, but let's get back to the 16-8. I have other resources talking about that. For the 16-8, you can have things such as water, sparkling water, coffee, teas. Just make sure that they don't have like fruity teas type things. Any sort of sweetener immediately stops and cancels out a fast. So if you add, say, Splenda, not Splenda, because we don't have Splenda on keto, but stevia, monk fruit, swerve, things like that that are keto sweeteners, that would stop your fast. So I typically, when in doubt, I leave it out. So like my fruity passion fruit iced tea that I get from Starbucks with no water, no sweetener, that huge thing that I get that's beautiful, it's pink. I don't have that during my fasting times because I'm not sure if that's going to break a fast. To me, it tastes sweet, even though there's not sweetener added, and that's questionable. And if it's questionable, I choose to leave it out. Tip number 3 that I have is helping write out the cravings for fasting is my MALDON sea salt. I highly recommend this product. It's a tin. I will put it in the description link below. One of these amazing sea salt flakes, as I shoot it across my my set here. A little put on my tongue, helps write out a fast. Helps change the cravings in my mouth. Helps with minerals, helps with electrolytes. If I start getting a headache, I will pop one of these. If you feel at any time during your 16-8, there's a time to push and a time not to push. And I always like to encourage people of like, if it's cookies, that's a mental thing, right? Like that's a separate thing of where that's pushing past the mindset of thinking you need to eat. If it's a physical thing, like, oh, I'm gonna pass out, oh, I'm having horrible cramping, oh, like some sort of physical thing, stop. This is a marathon. not a sprint. I will always encourage people to push and do their best, but my own self be true. And if you feel medically it's affecting you medically, don't do it. And in fact, if the fast is interrupting your eating with medication, work your fasting around your medication. If you have to eat with medication every 12 hours for that medication, do it. And then just continue running along back through your fast with it. I strongly encourage having your set time sorted, like how I said, eating at 10 a.m. and then your eating windows between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Having some sort of boundaries for yourself with your eating windows is super, super helpful and important for success. It literally sets you up for success when you have bookends, or when your start time and your end time. And I feel such a sense of accomplishment and achievement and esteem building when I hit those targets, when I hit those things. Some days I like to have longer fasts. My highest fasting time has been 50 hours. But on most days, 6 days a week, I do fast. I have a 7th day of rest where I don't do anything, like I just eat whenever. That is for physical components, but also mentally, I need a mental break from fasting all the time. And it's helpful to have that. That's just for me personally. Some people fast all the time. I'm just not there yet. I hope to be there one day. But having the 16 is the beginning part of really feeling weight loss, the health benefits. And again, having coffee or tea, per Dr. Fung in his book, does not break a fast, but it does stop the autophagy. And so having those tools when you're fasting, like cream, does not break a fast, but does stop the autophagy. But you wouldn't want to have tons and tons of cream if your goal is for a weight loss during a 16-8. So if your goal is for weight loss, I really, really try to stick to just water or sparkling water during that window of fasting, of allowing my body rest, allowing my digestive tract rest, allowing just rest. And when I do allow my body that, I find that my energy increases. I do blood pricking for my ketosis levels for keto with my Keto Mojo. I will put that in the description link below. Tracking those during my fasting times, the fastest way to bump back into ketosis is through fasting. It's through not eating, even with keto foods of high fat, moderate protein, low carb. And so having my blood readings has been super motivational with my fasting times because the track number grows. And I can see for my particular body how it interacts, how it works with fasting times. Now, there is such a thing with a 16-8 with the dawn effects of when you first wake up and doing blood readings, but that's for another topic for another day. Going back to the 16-8, making sure that you have some sort of start time and end time is my tip number 4 of really being very clear and not winging it, so to speak, on your beginning time and on your ending time. Also, I like to be very clear of what I'm going to have during that for beverages during my fasting time and during my eating window. For example, I know, shame, I love Diet Cokes. I really do. And I don't drink them very much. I used to drink like 3 huge big gulp size. I maybe have one every now and then. So if I do have one, of course, I'm going to have that during my eating window. And again, Diet Cokes are poisonous, but if I'm going to have one, it's going to be during my eating window. Because if I had it during my fasting window, it would break my fast. Same with like fruity Perrier and Pellegrino. I no longer have those during my fasting windows because it's made, like if it's a lime Perrier, I'd rather, when in doubt, leave it out to make sure I'm maximizing my health benefits and my weight loss benefits. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you to getting started along your journey. If you're trying to stair step your times, I have other awesome videos of how to increase your times and how you can get a free weekly keto meal plan and my intermittent fasting schedule down in the description link below. Make sure you smash that like button, make sure you click subscribe, and we'll check you again in my other playlist of intermittent fasting videos down in the description link below. Bye guys, make it a powerful day.